you guys really, sorry, you guys really understand what that's all about and how it works? Lean green. You know, just the whole concept of it. So it's basically what it boils down to is developed off of what people tend to get counseled to do anyway when they come see me for nutrition counseling. So it's the same similar concepts: quality, quantity, frequency, timing. You know, focusing on the right quality foods, eating at the right times, and developing a menu that's paleo-less, but it's also low impact on blood sugar, controlling insulin, giving them small frequent feedings on more than lean meat and veggie based side. And then from there we basically will manipulate carb intake based on their goals and their training load. Or say someone like Nathan or Dunn who are, you know, they stay very lean with a higher carb intake, we can basically jump up the yams or the quinoa type stuff or the brown rice a little higher. But most of the people will be on something that's basically meat and veggies for the most part. So you basically would have a small, medium, large, an extra large option, or you can do an a la carte where you can make your own setup. But each one is calorie controlled also, so they can't mess it up. It is guaranteed success. So the small plan is meant for a smaller female it's probably the most popular one we would have for, if you think of all our female weight loss clients. Like if Susie would have started here early on, I would put you on the smaller, the medium plan if that was something you want to do with the laser program. And that would be 3 meals and 2 snacks throughout the day, but they're basically going to eat every 3 hours. And they would pick a breakfast entree for each day and then a lunch and dinner entree for each day that would also go with a vegetable option. And then from there, the snack between breakfast and lunch and dinner, they would get some kind of snack that is mostly focused around some kind of protein or healthy fat or some kind of vegetable for those snacks. So insulin stays down all day, they're eating all day long, they're never hungry, they don't realize that they're only eating 12 to 1300 calories on average day. So they're never they're never hungry, and they're satisfied. So it's a pretty easy weight loss plan. Plus the food's already cooked, it tastes great, and it saves you a shitload of time. So it's pretty awesome. The next plan up is 3 meals and 3 snacks. So if someone's a little bit hungrier, they have a higher appetite, they train a little bit more, they have higher lean body mass. That one's about 14 to 1600 calories there. And we can manipulate all these numbers just based on changing a simple thing like, you know, the entrees all average around 300 calories, all of them. So they would select the list from all the options. If they have lunch and dinner all week, for a week that would be 2 times 7, 14 options they would select all week, from salmon, pork, flank steak, the salad with meat in it, whatever. But we could manipulate that by adding another food option somewhere. So we could throw in 300 extra calories by throwing another meat entree, something that simple. Or just another snack option. All the snack options are around 200 calories. So we're playing the quality game and the calorie counting quantity game at the same time, so you can't mess it up. So that's an optimal setup. But the problem with most of the nutrition counseling is people are not accountable and they don't stick to the plan. They run out of time, they skip meals, they don't hold themselves accountable to it, and things fall apart. So we're taking out all the work for them, so it's basically done. And the prices, that's what I've been working on this whole time, but they're damn close to what someone would spend on their own groceries throughout the month anyway. If you think about what they're going to save in time, to me it's a lot. You save a lot in terms of time equaling money. Then the next plan is the large plan, and that is 6 meals, and it is basically 6 entrees. You would have 5 veggie options for the day, and be more like you would see it like a typical bodybuilder setup or a figure model competitors kind of setup. So that to me is a pretty cool one. I'm more on the extra large plus plan, which is basically 8 meals, and I'm pretty much doubling up most of the options all day long. So that one gets to be about 2,400-ish calories in there, and I'm basically doubling up everything all day. So it's actually more of an a la carte extra large plus plan. So you can take it and individualize it based on whatever you need to do. So if those calories aren't enough, you can go up. But most people around 200 pounds lifting heavy weight, 2,400 calories, pretty lean. It's a lot of food. You know, you'd be eating quite a bit and you'd be stuffing yourself all day after a certain point in terms of clean food. Then the next thing on there is none of the plans themselves necessarily have a starchy carb from, say, yams or the brown rice or quinoa. All those worked into it. They would actually basically have to select a pre-post workout plan option if they need those carbs. So that's an add-on to the actual plan. So they would get whatever starchy carbs they would need for post-workout. If there's someone that needs it more, they can go pre-workout. They can get as many of that as they want. And fruit is only worked in for a pre-workout snack. It's only real reasonable time to get much fruit in the diet other than berries. Berries are worked in throughout the day. Consider this as definitely all set up for a fat loss body composition setup. Someone with a lot of training volume will definitely manipulate that a little bit differently. It just depends on their goals and their body fat level. That's the gist of it. Any question? It's almost done. We're working on the consistency of the product. I'm not cooking as much anymore. The soup people are taking over it. They're trying to get consistency with it. We're finally getting the price to where it needs to be, so from there then I can finally get you guys a discount based on where the numbers are. So you get a discount, and we might do a commission if you get your clients on or something like that. I'm not that far with it yet, but now that I don't have to do the work, I don't mind throwing out the discount and they can handle the volume, but they're still freaking out over it. So anyway, that's Lean and Green. Everybody vote for the Lab Rat of the Month yet? I haven't actually yet, but did we miss anybody else?
No, I think we got everybody.
This last one?
For the last one a couple weeks or
no,
a week ago.
We just did it again, so.
No, we haven't got anything in.
What's that?
I thought it was just nominations.
Yeah. Oh, so okay, so let's vote. We get this by Monday.
Okay.
Monday night. Monday night. And that way, if I do a newsletter Tuesday, I can get that out. The injury blog. You guys all saw it today. So I sent that to Doc. Did you see it? On the blog. Fired. Nice. The injury blog. I'll spare you reading through it, but there's a couple updates on there. Is Molnar in here?
You just finished up with a client.
Okay. You got a lot of you guys saw this before I responded, and then Molnar responded. But Molnar said, "Good stuff, Justin. Put me on the same back injury protocol last year after I heard a tearing sound in my low back while deadlifting. I thought I was done, but 9 days later I snatched a PR." And that was Molnar, and that was when he was just Team Lab junkie then. I've had this work on so many people, and really the whole setup, if you read through that, it's meant to be, if you're going to cause any more problems, and it's not what we think it is, if it's not the typical problem that we run into with a forward flexion injury, then you get warning signs immediately and you don't proceed. So if someone goes down to Cobra and it's increasing pain, you're done. Assessment's over, and we need to get serious help and figure out what the real problem is there. So, but I took this email and I sent it to Dr. Whitmer, who is been a chiropractor for probably 30 years. He's a professor at Logan Chiropractic College. He was one of my first weightlifting coaches. His son Jeff lives here sometimes. He snatches 166 kilos. Maybe you've heard of him. But he's a pretty to-the-point guy. And I sent it to him. I said, he's a very conservative, laid-back kind of person. I said, I don't think you're off base with this. I'd be careful when claiming 100% of anything, of course. So my comment in there was pretty cocky, like, yeah, you have to fix a lot of people, this blah, blah, blah. It's not 100% cure-all. Is definitely not the case. But overall, sound advice. So that was great to hear confirmation that from someone who knows extremely more about spines than me, and someone who also understands weightlifting and understands where I'm coming from on this. Your typical chiropractor, physical therapist, orthopedic surgeon is not going to be on page with that. They don't understand that. We're in a world where we lift heavy freaking weights every single day. I've done it for 20 years. I've hurt myself. I've fixed myself. I've fixed other people with a simple protocol. Bounce it off an expert. We're sound with that, so please memorize this. Be prepared with that when it happens, because you see people get hurt, they freak out, and they need to take off the whole week. And it's like I just said in the blog, they're going to start missing days. They lose all that conditioning. They lose that proactive mindset, and it kind of fucks you up. I mean, you lose at least that week, if not several weeks. And then once they go to their doctor and they're freaked out, they lost trust in you, they lost trust in the plan, and they're starting from scratch. And their doctor's going to freak them out, saying you can't squat and deadlift anymore. How many times have we heard that? It's nonsense. So those subtleties need to be worked in, like I said, from getting them to do their hypers and everything correctly from the gate. So that's that. Next thing I want to cover before we go out onto the floor. Ben's a manager now. Ben is now in charge of all you. Respect to Ben. Congratulations, Ben. Ben brought up a send checklist I thought was pretty ingenious. It is basically something we talked about before with the checklist in terms of holding them accountability where they're missing elements of their program. So if we have a 3-day client and they're here for weight loss and we know they're supposed to be doing their homework and doing their extra cardio or extra hour work on, say, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, my cousin Danny's a good example of this. We're supposed to be doing work on every other day, but I talked with Todd about, hey, keep a checklist, stay accountable on it, make sure he's doing his work. Every single day he comes in here, you need to ask him if he has done what he's supposed to do at home. Because he's going to skip out, and if you hold him to it, he's going to finally do it. Otherwise, he's going to keep sneaking by, and he's going to be here 6 months later, and he still hasn't lost the weight that he should have lost. That can't happen. So Todd wasn't strong and forceful enough on that situation, but, it's not just Todd, it's across the board. We've got these holes all over the place. So the SEN stands for soreness, help me out. Exercise and nutrition. So just a quick mnemonic there that we might make an official list for this, but it's something you go through. It's already got the subjective at the top of the sheet, but if you just write SEN at the bottom of your sheet or in the back of your sheet, whatever works, it's just a prompt to ask them for soreness each day. So or it's really not just for soreness, but if you think of it like a ding, so like subbed with his knee on Monday, so we'd assess and be able to flag exactly when it happened, and then can track any other information that may lead to it. That was pretty obvious what it was, but you had someone with, who was the girl that had issues with, we were trying to figure out the mystery problem. She was running, doing spinning, squatting.
Elsinore.
Yeah.
With the knee.
So that way we could track it back and see how long she's been hurting, and we can kind of work out issues. And it's one way to reverse engineer what actually might be causing the problem, but it's also a great way to track and see how they're adapting to a certain training program when you need to change something up. So the soreness is a pretty easy one, but the exercise on in between days is absolutely crucial. So if they're not doing that and they're just doing 3 days a week with you, people go read the How Long Will This Take article again. I mean, people are not going to lose weight on 3 days a week, especially not as fast as they want to, especially when they're investing $600 to $800 a month here, and they think that they're going to get the results they need in 3 days a week, and they're already deconditioned. They ain't getting nowhere. So it's up to you to make your job look good so you can retain the client and get that result. We sell results. We don't sell training sessions. Like if you're just sitting there holding their hand and 6 months go by and you're just there with them and they haven't had a life-changing result, that's not what they bought. They came and they bought a goal and they bought a result. It's not about training them and just hanging out with them. That's what happens at all their gyms. People just say, oh, I have a job as a trainer and I just train people all day. No, we sell results. So that's what this list is all about. So in making sure that they are doing everything that they need to be doing outside of your power. So you hold them accountable because it's checks and balances, or your job's fucked and they may not stick around. You got a hole in your day. So another way to graduate up in your pay scale as well is having high retention rates, high success stories, high testimonials. That would, to me, override a PhD. I don't give a shit about a PhD. I want you to be successful with your clients. So when you do something as simple as, did you do your 60 minutes of cardio yesterday? Yes or no? You stay on them to make sure it happens. Period. It's that simple. So you keep a checklist, and if you do this, and they're dragging their feet and they're not on top of what they're supposed to be doing, and you look back over the last month and they're sitting there saying at day 30, well, I haven't seen any results yet. The scale's the same. Like, well, you've averaged 4 days a week for 4 weeks. That is 2 hours short of your exercise quota each week. That's 1,000 calories off each week. And that's why your progress is slow. Your work density still sucks, and you're not burning enough calories each week. It's simple. So it's your fault. I've said something to you every single day this month about doing it, and you missed 8 days. Do you see how that's in your favor? So they realize, okay, I need to step up and get serious about my goal and change that behavior. It's pretty simple. Then do whatever you have to do to make sure they change that, and you remove barriers to whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay, I don't like elliptical, fine, let's come up with something else. You like to jump rope, you like to walk in the park, you walk your dog. Whatever the hell it is, you figure something out that you can do for them. Maybe they just need the accountability and they need to go do a spinning class or something like that. Whatever the case might be, but that's how you get to the root of that issue. The next one would be nutrition, and this would be a huge help in so many ways. I ask everybody I see to follow up with me. How many of them follow up? 1 out of probably 500 will follow up and actually tell me how things are going, follow up with a problem, actually give me a 3-day record to confirm things are going well. I'm not going to chase them down and say, hey, let's go chat for an hour. I don't have time for that. It's about getting to the people like Susie I talked with for 1 hour, and she hit a grand slam home run from that point forward. Never had to talk to her again about it. That doesn't happen every day. So when you talk to them the same way about the cardio they were supposed to do the next day, how was your diet yesterday? Did you stick to the plan? And Ben was saying he would assess them on, did you follow 70%, 80%, 90%? And that's one way to do it, but I honestly think if it's a weekday and our plan is, like I said with Linda Green, and say it's a 6 feeding day, and they're supposed to have meat and veggies 3 times and healthy snacks in between that, and they added an apple that was not on the plan as a snack, that is a complete failure. That's like taking that last deadlift and dropping it down quickly. It's not part of the plan. So they already messed it up. We've negotiated a certain schedule and list of foods that they can eat, and sometimes, let's say on a Friday or Saturday, there's a meal they can have whatever the hell they want and they can enjoy that, but if they're doing that and they do that every single day and they fall in those traps of either I skipped a meal, my second snack, that's a behavior that is, they're in a very vulnerable state, and they need to get that out of the gate right away. Because if you start missing them, that behavior never actually starts. And again, here you find yourself 4 weeks in and nothing has changed in their diet. And now your training is the reflection of why they haven't been successful. So this is to help you and to help your success. Did they get their extra work in? Did they follow the diet plan? No. This is the 3rd time you've asked them this week and they're still not on it. You need to follow up with Justin. Tell me, I'll get on their ass. And hey, maybe we should meet up again. So that would really get to those problem people sooner. Or it's simply, just reminds them, okay, I really need to get on this. And they can't get away from you about it. So just make sure you ask, and if it's, okay, how did the day go yesterday? Well, it was okay. I missed breakfast. No, that's failure. That's complete failure. So that's strike one. The next day, okay, and before they leave out the door, make sure you eat breakfast tomorrow. If that was the one error, make sure they do it. You see them the next day. I missed breakfast again. Okay, do we need to talk to Justin here and get something scheduled to work this out, or can we come up with some kind of action plan to make sure this happens? So either way, it holds them accountable from the start. So if you simply just write SEN real quick, you can write it on every single page, however it works. Or have one master page at the end of the sheets and just put your dates across there. And if every time you see that, they get their extra 1,500 calories burned a week by doing their extra cardio and extra work and following the diet plan, you're going to look like a miracle worker out there with your workouts. So you're going to expedite their success like that. SEN, it's real simple. So I mean, if we got to remake all the damn workout cards, we will. But it's simple if you just write SEN at the bottom and just kind of track that. So if it'd be nice with everybody, but if anybody that's a weight loss client, it makes perfect sense, and that's pretty much everybody. Any questions? Does that seem like a reasonable, fair plan? I mean, I think we'd find some issues pretty quickly there. We're going to go through the RDL first and dial in Pat with heavy triple, kind of like we did with the two girls the last time. I want your feedback on how's this form, A, B, C, D, F, A plus, A minus, whatever. And we're going in cold here. Unfortunately, it's better when you have someone who's never done an RDL. Pat's an lifter, so he has perfect posture. He's superior to most of us in here. But then we're going to dial him into a top 3 RM. And from there, depending on how time is, we may do a few more sets. But I kind of want to get to that shaky territory of, is this still good RDL? Does it make sense anymore? Is it doing the objective? Like, an RDL I consider much different than a deadlift, but sometimes I can't tell what the hell the difference is when I look at them out there. It's like, is that an RDL or a deadlift? I can't tell. Now, someone like me, if you see me doing RDL, I'm a competitive weightlifter. I do competitive strongman training, shit like that. That's different, okay? I'm not saying it's do as I say, not as I do here. I'm going to grind out heavy weights, and if I injure myself, it's my own damn fault. Not with our clients. So they have to do an RDL to develop that perfect posture and not hurt themselves. It's a functional, nice move to bend at the hip. Simple. They don't need to be world champions in RDLs. Deadlifts, I would like to push a little bit more, but still it's the same standard. They need to have perfect positions and posture. So let's push Pat as hard as we can on that. Then we're going to split up. Remember your partner real quick so we can just crank through this and not fuck around too much. Pat and Molnar. Molnar is not here yet. There he is. There's the ginger. All right, Dunn and Ben. Matt and Brian Crane. Steve and Susie. Nathan, Jessica. Brendan and Jimmy. And from there, we're going to demonstrate one exercise, and then probably have one of you guys come up and just teach the person how to do it. So it'll be like one to get RDL and stuff like that. Some stuff we haven't covered from a long time ago. I really would like to cover some kettlebell stuff if we get time for it, if things move quickly enough. All right? Cool?
Yep.
All right.